Hello, welcome back to Dreaming Acres. Decided to talk about our hurricane preparedness since this is the Gulf Coast of Alabama and we get hurricanes, like a lot. Our last one that came through and made a mess here was Hurricane Sally in September 2020. I had found out the day before that that day that I had COVID. So I was like, yay, I got to stay home and clean up, which I didn't have the energy to do. Anyway, so there's certain things that you need if you're going to be trying to survive a hurricane. Having a trailer does not help. It's better to have a brick house. I don't have one, so I have to make do with what I have. Now, afterwards, when there's no power, possibly no water. We have city water, so we don't have a problem with that. But if there's no power, you can't cook, you can't run the freezer, you can't do stuff. So, just in case, we have water, as you see behind me. We have water catchment. Mostly that's for the garden and for the chickens. And we also have, and if we need to use it, we have water filter. That's inside. Alright, so our water containment. We have 2 of them. They hold a whole lot of water. How much? I don't remember. They are linked to a downspout system. The only guttering we have on the trailer. We put it on there ourselves because for some reason Alabama does not like gutters. Holds a whole lot of water. As you can see, we have a hose hooked up to this particular one. They've got little cranky thingies to turn it on and off. Should we have covered it in black so it didn't grow green stuff inside? Well, yeah. That is why we have the Berkey, if we need to use it. This is our Berkey. This is the water filtration system that we have, that we use regularly. We get water from the tap. We put it in here. The top part is, obviously where you put it in. There's filters in between. Let me show you the inside. Ignore the dust, please. If you can see it. See down there, those round things? That's where the filters are. They go down into the bottom part. They filter through the top part down into the bottom part. And there's a spigot where you get it out from. So that's for water. We're good for water. We usually fill that up before a hurricane comes. So another necessity is power. Can't run your refrigerator or your freezer or your stove or anything without power. We have our generator in here. I would be glad to open it up and show you, but I don't know if I have the keys. My husband does, I'm sure, somewhere. I might. I don't know. I'm sure he'll tell me later if I do or not. As you can see, it is locked up 6 ways to Sunday because we don't want it going anywhere. It's also behind a shed, so it's not in plain view, so it's safer. Hey, Leonard. We also, to go with the generator, we have something called GeneraLink. I'm assuming it's in that box right there. I have no idea. I wasn't here when they put it in, but it connects your generator to your power, to your power lines, as you can see. That will we can run everything but the I want to say 210. The big stuff. In other words, your air conditioning, central air, your stove, that kind of stuff. Those are our solar panels. If we run out of gas for our generator, say, we can hook that up. We have batteries. We can hook that up to the system and run stuff off of it if necessary. We have also before had a small electric generator that didn't do too terribly well in Sally, so we got rid of it. My husband's looking at getting another one for reasons. He likes his toys. There may only be 2 of us, but we have a freezer full. Some of those are chickens that we raised. Some of them are rabbits that we raised. Those are down near the bottom. Some of it is venison that I got from the local deer processing place. When the people don't collect it, then they sell it. Well, not technically sell it because it's illegal to sell deer meat in Alabama. But they sell it. They give it to you for the processing charge. So this is the shed. It has many things in it. One of which is our little camping grill. I can use that to cook on. In fact, I have after Sally. I made what's defrosting in the freezer soup after Sally when we were trying to clean up, and it's a nice little not kerosene, propane grill. Very easy to get in and out as long as it's not choked up by the shelves. This is where we have our feed bins. It's up against our coop. I put a tarp over it because it helps to keep the rain off of it. I have their feed not only to keep it from getting wet, but also to keep critters out of it, the rats and whatnot, because Lord, we do have rats. In these big metal trash cans, which I got at Walmart, cheap as can be. I mean, not completely, but anyway. So I have the tarp. I have to put my cart on the tarp to keep it there, to keep it down so it doesn't go flying. But one of the things that I will do if we hear that there's a hurricane coming, most people go out, they get, toilet paper and beer and water. We have water. We always have toilet paper. I make sure we have toilet paper. I go get feed. We need feed. We can't do without feed. They expect to be fed regularly, whether it's blowing out or not. So I need that. With the animals, when it comes to hurricane proofing, this stuff that's out front here, the cages and the stuff that's on top of the cages, that'll get put down on the ground. That won't be there. The tarp that's on top of there will be pulled over. The rabbit cages on this side of the cage are empty. There's nobody in there right now. If there was, I'd pull the tarp down so that we wouldn't get wet. During Hurricane Sally, I was very worried about a rabbit that was in the back here. It was higher up. It was on top of sawhorses. So I was really worried about her, but she was perfectly fine. It was drier than the ducks. Speaking of ducks, they were walking around during the hurricane. Now at night, I don't know what they were doing. They might have been walking around. They usually do. I wasn't about to look. I was sleeping, trying to anyway. The chickens, half of them will sleep in the coop, half of them will sleep in the tree. They did fine that way. Granted, that was just barely a category 2. If it gets above a certain point, I will probably leave, me and the dogs, and go up to my mom and dad's place up in Montgomery, which is, much further inland. Other than that, we stay here, we hunker down. That's what we got the Connex for. We just weather it as best we can. Also, if you live on the Gulf Coast and you don't own a chainsaw, that's your fault. You should have gotten one. If you own a home, you don't live in an apartment, you don't have to worry about it if you don't have an apartment. But if you live on the Gulf Coast, you don't have a chainsaw, that's your own daggum fault. You need to get one. I have had these for a very long time. They are hurricane lamps. They're called hurricane lamps. They're oil lamps. Please, again, ignore the dust. I can't reach up there. I am holding this way above my head. Also, that lovely flashlight right there, something my husband, one of his toys. It's a very good flashlight. I don't remember what kind. It's not that important. Just flashlights. Flashlight's important. And the oil lamps. I love to light them up when there's a thunderstorm, just in case the power goes out at night. So they burn real well. And of course, having extra kerosene oil on hand or lamp oil on hand is important. I hope all those of you who went through Hurricane Ian are doing well. I haven't looked at the news yet to see how much of a mess it's made, but I'm sure it's a big one, considering how strong it was going to be. Well, if you ever have a hurricane coming towards you, there's some things that you need to take care of, and we'll help you get through it. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.